Hello, how is everybody doing? I'm thinking about each and every one of you. Hi, I see you logging on. And I had an interesting thought that I wanted to share with you. And I get a lot of my inspiration from Joyce Meyer. I always want to give her credit. I listen to her podcast, and it's a really, a lot of things she says resonates with me, and I know that a lot of things I say resonate with you, and so I'm just passing it along. And so something that she has said that I wanted to turn around and kind of spin it and put my own spin on it and say it to each of you. And let me just get right to it. Why should we delay? Let me just get right to it. We're talking about learning and unlearning. Now, life is all about learning. Life is all about learning. It's all about learning. It is. It's absolutely about learning. Well, you're just going to learn. You just got to learn. You just got to learn. Well, what about unlearning? And a lot of you guys are already nodding at me right now, and I know you get it. What about unlearning the bull crap? What about when I was with a guy when I was 18 years old who was so not only physically abusive, but verbally abusive, and he told me over and over and over that I would never amount to anything, that I was too dumb to go to college. I desperately wanted to go to college. There's this college in this town called Coastal Carolina Community College. It was a dumpy little crappy college, and I would watch the kids go into class when I would drive by, and I wanted to be a nurse so bad. And he constantly told me that I couldn't, that I was too dumb, and then I would never amount to anything. You got to unlearn those hurtful words. You got to unlearn the things that the kids say to you at school. You got to unlearn something maybe a boss said to you that is just not true. The words spoken over you, sometimes you got to unlearn that. Because, if you grew up in a great household where the parents, your parents really poured into you and really, constantly they were encouraging you, and they were always saying what you could do, and the sky's the limit, and that's so great, that's awesome. But there were a lot of people that were not raised in a household like that their parents only went this far. So it was like, well, you can all you can do is have babies, or all you can do is just be a clerk at your local C-store. Well, that's fine if you choose to do those jobs, and that's fine if you choose to be a mom or a dad, but don't limit your kid by saying that. I mean, your child has unlimited potential. So if you grew up with that limited the feedback, or that limited what's the word I'm looking for? When somebody that kind of influence, that limited influence, you gotta unlearn that, right? You gotta get that. You gotta completely retrain your brain to think totally different. I had a very poor mindset. I've always been transparent and open about the fact that we had no money growing up. My dad was a cop. My mom worked a minimum wage, and they did their best. They refused to live life in debt. So they did their best with whatever money was left over at the end of the month. And let me tell you, there wasn't much money at the end of the month. So we didn't get to take vacations. We didn't have school clothes. We wore hand-me-downs. We didn't get fancy. Sometimes didn't get any Christmas presents. I mean, one year we got an orange. So sometimes so I was always, and it was always like, we just don't have money. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. So I grew up with that whole poor person mentality, that lack mentality. Let me tell you, one of the biggest things I ever unlearned was my mentality about money. I had to unlearn all those wrong thoughts that had held me back for decades. And now they no longer hold me back. I don't have a lack mentality. I don't have a poor person's mentality. Even if I lost everything I had, my mentality is different about money. But I had to unlearn what I learned from my folks who were just trying to get by. And I just unlearned that life just can't get any better than this. Well, anyway, I think you get the point. And another thing that you have to unlearn is poor nutrition education. So many of us were taught you remember back to grade school, junior high, high school, and even college. We were taught the food pyramid. And some of you guys were taught my plate. And it's absolutely so wrong. We were taught low fat, so wrong. We were taught eating frequently throughout the day, so wrong. We were taught that you have to exercise off your weight in order to lose your extra weight, so wrong and impossible. So we got people coming to Code Red in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s who have had decades of the wrong learning. And now, in their retirement years, they're having to unlearn a whole lifetime of the wrong information about nutrition. And that's what the 10-pound takedown does. We reteach you. We undo the damage. I actually teach you every single day. I come live to you every single day like I'm coming live to you right now. I come live to you every single day and I teach you why. What you used to think was wrong, the studies, the research, the data to back up why it's wrong, and why what we believe is a better, healthier way to approach good health and weight loss. That's a nice way of saying why I'm right. Okay, that's a nice way of saying I'm right, and you're going to quickly figure it out. But we have to first unlearn what you learned for decades before, and then reprogram your brain to start looking at things different. 10poundtakedown.com. That's what's happening, you guys. 30-day challenge. You can lose at least 10 pounds in 30 days by following very, very basic foods. You get a food list, what to eat, what not to eat. You get a rules list. You get tracking sheets just like this one. I print off my own tracking sheets even when there's not a challenge going on. I keep track of my weight, my sleep, my water. We track weight, sleep, and water. You're going to get an incentive gift. You're going to be entered in to win prizes. And I come to you live every single day. Not just me, but the coaches. The certified coaches are going to come to you live too. They have a whole different perspective on things than I do. It's about unlearning. Unlearning what you learned before that isn't working. Not only isn't working, but making us very sick and very fat in our society. It ain't working, folks. We have 66% of our society is overweight and 33% is obese. It ain't working, folks. So we got to unlearn and relearn. And that's what we do on the Code Red Lifestyle, and that's what we do on the 10-pound takedown. So register. We are starting soon. Register for your challenge, 10poundtakedown.com, and we'll see you there. All right? Okay.